Hi, everybody. I'm here with Taylor Steelman. He is the star of Sallywood, one of the stars, because this is really like everybody, masterclass in acting, just like Sally Kirkland, yourself. Jennifer Tilly is just like breathtaking, like everybody. You can really sense that you all just poured your hearts into this film. Eric Roberts, just everybody. Just such a tour de force of acting. Like seriously, it should be, screened in acting classes just to see how it's done.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It was cool for me as an actor to book a role of this size and to get to share the screen with each and every one of those names you just listed and more. They're all, if not Oscar winners, Oscar nominees. So, as a newer comer of an actor, it was really surreal that I got a scene with each and every one of them. And I learned, so much from each and every one of them. And it's still unreal that, that happened. And I respect them all so much as artists and actors. And, I was fan and I still am a fan of each and every one of them. So it was really cool.
That's brilliant. Yes, Tom Connolly, Maria Conchetta Alonso. Just yeah,
Mhm.
it's just like yeah. Let's see how this next scene is going to dazzle us. It's just yeah.
Yeah.
How
And then we had Michael Lerner. That's it. It was his last film, actually.
so sad.
Yeah.
Uh,
And a huge fan of him growing up from Godzilla to Elf. And he was fantastic. And I was honored to have worked with him and meet him.
wow. How take us through that? Like how was that for you? You learned that you got the role. Like what was your preparation like? What was, like how were you feeling when you heard that? Just yeah, what did you do? Just yeah, give us a little
Yeah.
glimpse.
Well, to go even further back, the way I got the audition was I had done a movie back in 2013 called The Secret Lives of Dorks. And it was produced by Stephen Wolfe, who's also the producer of Sallywood. And I had gotten a mutual friend had reached out to me and messaged me and said, I need you to audition for this movie with Sally Kirkland. Like they haven't been able to find their guy. And I thought you'd be perfect for it. And she had sent me the message at like 3 a.m. and I had read it the next day at like 8 a.m. And I was like, I hope I'm not too late. So, I had replied and I had sent in a tape and it was, accumulation of a bunch of scenes from the film. And as an actor, you send in tapes and it's into the void. You never think you're going to hear back again because most of them you don't. And then, I think it was a day later, we want you to screen test with Sally herself, which was, surreal. I love Sally Kirkland. I think she's great. And I actually went to Sally's real apartment. The apartment that you see in the film is her real apartment. They couldn't have,
Oh,
yeah, they could not have made that up. She actually has these amazing paintings everywhere that she herself has done. She has her Oscar nominee there, all her awards she's ever won. It looks like it's set itself. And so I showed up at her apartment and they had me screen test with her and do all these scenes with her on her little bed that she has in the living room because Sally can't walk a lot. So, she was doing everything on her bed. And it was so funny because at first I was like, on her bed? What kind of movie is this? No, but I did it, and it was an amazing process and getting to work with her. She's so talented, and she has such an amazing career. I mean, in her apartment, she has pictures with Bob Dylan and Bob De Niro and all these amazing, influential figures. And just getting to share a screen with her, let alone audition with her, was so cool. And I booked it, and it was that itself was such a ride that I'll never forget. Yeah.
wow, wow, yeah, that does sound like a surreal experience. Yeah, and I thought it was a set. Because I had the opportunity to see the movie, obviously, and yeah, I know like every little detail, and I thought like, oh wow, they really dressed this up really nice. No, everything. I love the car that you got to drive around in. That was
Yeah.
really a cool touch as well.
I
You
mean,
know.
it's funny because the movie is sort of an exaggeration of her, but in real life, she was an Oscar nominee actress, and she did all these movies. And if you're a cinephile, you really know who she is. She had a huge impact in the 80s and 90s. But if you're not a cinephile, she's sort of an unknown to you. And so the movie has a really, a strong message of how Hollywood treats women in particular, they could, kind of forget about you overnight. And, if you're not this like next crazy big sex symbol. And that's what drew me to the movie as well, was just sort of the message of that, and how she had this career that had, spanned decades after decades, and yet Hollywood kind of stopped knocking on her door. And I thought that was really interesting. And she has such a library of stories. I'm like, how could you not book this woman? She's so, magnetic. And so I think that's what drew me to the film and drew me to her.
Yeah, no, definitely. She just is so magnetic, as you say. She's phenomenal in this film. I mean, yeah, and it must have been like sort of surreal for you on the level of that it is. People hadn't seen. We did an interview with the director Zach Gruber previously, and he was saying it's based on his life. So was that like extra pressure for you as an actor? Like, wow, I'm portraying the director. Like, I gotta nail this. Like
You
what
know,
was that?
normally it would be normally, but when I auditioned for it, I didn't know who Zach was. So I had to create this character without meeting Zach. And then once I got the screen test, and then once I booked it, I took that character and I brought him to set. Where Zach never said, I want you to change it and I want you to figure out who I am and I want you to, I want you to walk how I walk or talk how I talk. He wanted Zach. That's why actually the character's name is spelled differently than his real name. So
Uh,
his name is spelled with a K and Zach is spelled with a Z, because it's kind of a caricature of himself. Like, he didn't want it to be, this is just me. It's almost, in itself a different person, let alone it's him, if that makes sense. So he gave me the freedom. He said, because I took him to lunch right before filming and I was like, should I do more homework on you? Like, I want to interview you. I want to talk to you. And he said, no, what you brought to that audition is who I want the character to be. I don't want you to search for him anymore. So I thought that was really interesting, because if I was casting someone to play me in the movie of my life, I'd be so particular. But he has to look a certain way and he has to talk a certain way. And Zach just gave me the freedom. And I think from the very beginning he had viewed it as almost a separate Zach, because the whole movie itself is a bit exaggerated. Sally is somewhat that, but it's a little turned up.
right.
She's not as narcissistic as the movie portrays her to be, but so everything's a little bit turned up. So I love that he gave me the freedom.
Yeah, yeah, no, he was really great to speak with as well. Yeah, no, I just wonder because like I know like you had some COVID, you ran into some COVID drawbacks. What was it like dealing with that? Because like here you go, like your first like big lead role, and then the world shuts down. Like that's gotta put you on some kind of roller coaster ride emotionally. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I didn't think it was ever going to come out, because we finished like I want to say a couple weeks, if not 2 weeks, before the world shut down. Like, it was like right there. And so a year went by and you almost forget about it because so much has happened in the world. And then 2 years goes by, and 2 years and a half, and so on and so on. And so I would check in every once in a while. And as an actor, you do films all the time in indies, and indies take a long time to come out because they're always looking for a distributor. They're always looking for some, festivals, things like this. And so I almost gave up on it, but I would talk to Zach, I would talk to Steven, and they would say, just hang on tight, just hang on tight. It's coming, it's coming. And I never imagined, what it turned into. The movie is so good. And everything about it. I saw the trailer, I saw the poster, I saw the movie. I was so, and the fact that it took so long to come out too made it more enjoyable as an audience member, because I forgot things. I was like, oh, that I remember. So I was able to watch it as a fan and not, with such a critical eye. So I thought that was kind of funny.
yeah, as a new first timer to it, like, oh yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. That's really neat. That's really
exactly.
neat. Kind of in line with the whole meta theme of the film a bit. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, the COVID stuff, it bummed me out for a while. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I finally booked my first leading role, and then the world shuts down. Like, this is so comical. But we're up and running, and we're getting into a lot of festivals, and we've won so many awards, and I'm so blessed to be a part of the project.
Yeah, no, I could see why. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this for, like, oh, it won the festival. It won the festival for a reason. It truly is so well written, so well acted. Like each beat is just so spot on. There's like not a false note in sight.
Thank you.
I love that speech that you give. Where is it in the liquor store, I think, and you're
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're meeting all the writers and stuff. Yeah, yeah. And I want to give a shout out to Tom, my co-star, Tom Connolly. He's magnetic. He's also, up and coming right there with me. And he was such a joy to work with. And I found a real friendship in him. And he's also just a great actor.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was looking up all his credits as well. He's done so much too, right? The Chosen and every.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, this whole, it's really, really a treasure, a gem of a film because it's not lacking. The story is so palpable too, and in line with the festival, like you touched on it earlier as well, of how women are just treated as, sex objects, and once they get older, it's like, oh, they're forgotten about.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine, like, you know, how does Sally deal with that? Like, do like, if you
You
can
know,
share?
Sally is just always working, and I think it's because she just loves the craft of it, and if anything, Sally's already in 0.1% of all actors. Most of us don't book a movie, let alone a huge movie, let alone a movie that gets nominated for the Oscar. So she's already just accomplished so much, and I think she knows that, and she's a talented, she's unbelievably talented, and even as of just 2 years ago, she was in 80 for Brady. She's still doing studio films, and she's still kicking butt. But at one of our film festivals, we were in Florida about 2 months ago with the film, and she stood up at the end of the movie and she said that besides Anna, which she got nominated for the Oscar, Sallywood was her favorite film that she'd ever.
Um,
Yeah, and that was just so cool to hear. I'm like, okay, I didn't, screw up your movie too much, so you like it.
you were very good in it. Yeah, no, you could see all the tender moments that you brought to. I love the way you interacted with your parents. It was so relatable.
And speaking of that, rest in peace to Lenny, who played my dad. He passed away, and he was a fantastic actor and one of the nicest guys. And Jennifer is probably, I've done a lot of movies and I've worked with a lot of like people I grew up with watching, and I want to say Jennifer Tilly is probably the nicest person I've ever met, and she's such a sweetheart. And followed me on Instagram and messages me, and to this day is a friend of mine. And I think she's one of the sweetest people. And I grew up watching, the Chucky films and was a fan of her. And I'd love to, give her a shout out too. She's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, no, seriously, it's such a brilliant film. I can't wait to screen it at the festival on Saturday. And I'm just sure, like, as soon as it comes out publicly, like, everybody will just flock to it because you need to smile right now, right? There's too much going on. You need
Yeah.
to smile and be uplifted.
And
Yeah.
and and that was one of Stephen Wolfe and Zach Gruber, the producer and the director. That was one of their things when they made this movie, was they're like, we need to make a movie that's funny, that doesn't rely on traditional like nudity or drug use. Just we need something that just makes people feel good, but not in a cheesy, a Hallmark way, like an actual good movie. And I really do think they accomplished it. It doesn't rely on, easy shock factor tropes. It really is just an all around good movie that just happens to make you feel good. It's not meant for the Lifetime channel or the Hallmark channel. It's just a good movie. And so I'm very proud of that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, and rightfully so, rightfully so. You all again just bravo. Wonderful, wonderful job. I can't thank you enough for
Thank you.
allowing us to screen it at the festival.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. In every humdrum life, there is a muse, someone who ignites inspiration. I had Sally.
Chessie,
Mom, you'd support me if I went for what I really want, right? I need to move to Hollywood.
Maybe you'll meet Reba McEntire.
I could meet Sally Kirkland.
Like that's gonna happen.
Do these photos mean these people ate here?
You mean Sally? She just left.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a photo of me and my paintings? Are you my new assistant?
Yes.
You start right now. In 1988, I was nominated for the Best Actress Oscar in the same category as Meryl Streep, and it's like I've been completely erased. Ask Ned if he'll hire me.
Sally? Sally Fields? Sally Struthers?
No, Kirkland.
You were in MASH, right?
That's Sally Kellerman.
Anna was the first independent film I ever saw. I love Anna because she's an underdog. Remember when I said I wanted to meet my favorite movie star? She's here and wants to talk to you.
She wants to talk to me?
God just brought us together. He is a mystical child of light.
Okay.
Sally, I want to get you out there again. Get you noticed. You're the reason I came to Hollywood. Come on, this can't be the worst movie you've ever done.
Who's there? In fact, it is.
Please, Zach, you fix the faucet, now please fix the script.
You've done nothing but neglect me.
It's not the same business, Sally.
Ever want a real assistant's job? Give me a call.
You haven't changed.
Nothing good ever came from going online.
I don't know where I belong anymore. You came into my life and you brought me hope. Light of God!
Just because the rest of the world forgot about you doesn't mean I ever will.